Well, now, pull up a chair and get comfortable, because this story isn't a quick one. It's a long road of love, loss, and the kind of lessons life teaches the hard way. My name's Martha Jean, though folks around here just call me Grandma Jean. I live in a little town down in Tennessee, one of those places where the porch swing squeaks louder than the traffic. And every neighbor knows your business before you've had your first cup of coffee. I've lived in this same old house for over 40 years. My late husband, Harold, he built it with his own two hands. He used to joke, "Jean, this place will still be standing when we're long gone." And you know what? He was right. The walls creak a bit, the roof leaks when it rains too hard, but it's home filled with memories and the ghosts of laughter. Every morning, I sit by that same kitchen window, watching the sunlight dance on the steam from my coffee, and I thank the Lord for another day. My three grandkids, Jacob, Lily, and Sared, they used to visit almost every Sunday after church. Oh, those were my golden days. The house would smell like fresh-baked pie. The country station would be playing low on the radio, and you could hear their laughter bouncing right off the walls. Jacob, he's my oldest, a real smart one. He's a big city boy now, wears fancy suits, and talks like money is the only language worth speaking. Then there's Lily, my middle one. Bless her heart. She's sweet as can be, but restless, always chasing some new dream she can't quite seem to catch. And Sarah, my youngest. She's quiet and gentle, with a heart just like her grandpa's, steady and pure. For a long time, I thought I'd done it, right-traced my kids and my grandkids to love, to care, and to give a whole lot more than they take. But life has this funny way of testing what you think you know, and my test started one quiet afternoon in the spring. The air smelled like honeysuckle and fresh rain. I was sitting right here on my porch, knitting a scarf for no one in particular, when Jacob pulled up in his shiny black car. I could tell something was off before he even opened his mouth. He had that business talk look on his face, stiff and serious, like he'd forgotten how to smile. "Grandma," he said, sitting down beside me, "have you ever thought about what happens to all this after?" I just blinked. "After what, sweetheart?" "You know," he said, "after you're gone. I mean, this house, the land, the money you and Grandpa saved." Now, sugar, I'm not the kind to get offended easily, but those words stung like lemon juice on a paper cut. I tried to laugh it off. "Jacob, I ain't planning on dying this week, baby. Let's not rush the funeral just yet." He chuckled, but it was awkward, and I saw the hunger in his eyes. It wasn't evil, just empty. The kind of emptiness that grows when love gets replaced by want. In the days that followed, Lily started asking her own little questions. "Grandma, you still have that insurance policy, right? Or who's going to take care of the house when you can't?" Small things, maybe they were innocent, but they started to build up. Then, one evening, Sarah came by, carrying a pan of homemade cornbread. She didn't ask about money. She asked about me. She said, "Are you sleeping okay, Grandma? And do you want me to fix that leaky faucet for you tomorrow?" She even stayed the night and helped me clean the attic the next morning. No reason, no motive, just love. That's when I really started to feel the crack in my family's gold. The shine was still there on the surface, but underneath greed was peeking through. But one Sunday, all three of them came over together. I made roast chicken, mashed potatoes, and a big pecan pie, Harold's favorite. We sat around the table, laughing and talking about old times. But I noticed every time money got mentioned, Jacob's eyes would light up. Lily would go quiet, and Sarah would just look down at her plate. That night, after they'd all left, I sat by the window again. The moon was so bright, it turned the kitchen floor silver. I looked over at Harold's old photo on the wall and whispered, "They're forgetting, Harold. They're forgetting what really matters." He always said I had a way of teaching lessons that stick. And Lord knows, I was about to give my family one they would never ever forget. You see, honey, sometimes people don't learn by listening. Sometimes they have to learn by losing. And that's when the idea of my golden game was born. Thank you for listening to my story. If you want to see what happens next, make sure to follow and subscribe. You won't want to miss it. The following Sunday, I invited all three of them over for dinner. The table was laden with all their favorite dishes, a feast fit for a king, but the laughter echoing in the dining room felt hollow, strained. It was a performance, and I was the sole audience member. I watched their faces, each a canvas of their true intentions. Jacob, my eldest grandson, had that familiar, calculating look in his eyes, his mind already running numbers. I was sure. Lily, ever the anxious one, fidgeted with her napkin, her nervousness a palpable cloud around her, and Sarah, my youngest, was unusually quiet, her gaze fixed on her plate, lost in thoughts she wouldn't share. After the last plate was cleared, I took a deep breath, the silence in the room suddenly heavy. "Kids," I began, my voice steady despite the tremor in my heart. "I've been doing a lot of thinking lately. I'm not getting any younger, and this big old house, well, it's getting to be too much for me to handle alone. I think it's time we started to decide who's going to take care of it when I am gone." As expected, Jacob leaped at the opportunity, his chair scraping against the floor. "Grandma, you know I'm the most responsible," he declared, his voice smooth and practiced. "I've got a great head for business. I could rent it out, make sure it's always well maintained. We could generate a steady income from it. You wouldn't have to worry about a single thing." He leaned back, a smug smile playing on his lips, as if he'd just closed a deal. Lily, wringing her hands, bit her lower lip. "I could move in, Grandma," she offered, her voice barely above a whisper. "I mean, it's not right for you to be living all by yourself. I could help with the chores, the garden. We could keep each other company." Her eyes darted around the room. Avoiding my gaze, her offer tinged with a sense of duty rather than genuine affection. Throughout their pitches, Sarah remained silent, a statue amidst the clamour. I turned my attention to her, my voice softening. "And what about you, my dear? What are your thoughts?" She finally looked up, her eyes clear and honest, a stark contrast to her siblings. "Grandma," she said softly, her voice filled with a sincerity that warmed my old bones. "I don't want anything. I don't want the house. I don't want any money. I just want you to be happy and okay. That's all that matters to me." Her simple, selfless words struck me right in the heart. That night, sleep was a distant dream. I found myself in the living room, sitting in Harold's old armchair, his smiling face looking back at me from the silver frame on the mantelpiece. I picked it up, tracing the lines of his familiar smile with my thumb. "So, Harold," I whispered into the quiet of the house, "it seems the time has come. It's time to play our little game. The golden one." A small, determined smile formed on my face. The stage was set, the players had revealed their hands, and I knew exactly what I had to do next. My grandchildren thought they were playing for a house, but they had no idea what the real prize was. The next morning, I made a call to my lawyer. "Mr. Henderson," I said, "I need you to draw up some new papers for me, and I have a very specific, very unusual request." I could almost hear his eyebrows raise over the phone as I laid out my plan. It was elaborate, perhaps a little dramatic, but Harold always did love a good story with a twist. This house, this home we built with love and laughter, wasn't just bricks and mortar. It was a legacy, and it deserved to be passed on to someone who understood its true worth. I then called each of my grandchildren individually. "I've made a decision about the house," I told them, keeping my voice neutral. "But I want to do something special. Meet me at the house on Saturday at noon, and come alone." The air crackled with anticipation and suspicion, but all three agreed. Jacob probably thought he'd won. Lily was likely a bundle of nerves, and Sarah, well, I hoped Sarah was just looking forward to seeing her grandmother. Saturday arrived, a brilliant, sunny day that felt full of promise. I had spent the morning preparing. The house was spotless, and in the center of the living room, on the large oak coffee table, sat 3 identical sealed envelopes. This was it, the final act. I knew this little test might cause a rift, but it was a risk I had to take. I needed to know who truly had a heart of gold. Thanks for sticking with me through this story. If you're enjoying it, please give this video a like and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the final part of this family tale. I promise you, the conclusion is something you won't see coming. See you in the next one. A week later, I told Em I was selling the house. "Whoever proves they care the most will get it all," I said with a twinkle. They didn't know it, but I'd already written 3 letters. One for each grandchild, with very different instructions. Jacob's letter told him I was meeting a lawyer about my will. Lily's letter said I needed money for hospital bills. Sarah's letter just said, "Come see me when you can." I miss you. 3 tests, 1 heart. Within days, Jacob came with property papers. Grandma, I can handle everything. Just sign here and you'll be secure. I smiled sweetly. Oh, that's kind, sugar. Leave M on the table. Next came Lily. She brought me a check. It's all I could gather. Grandma just want to help. Her eyes were watery, but her hands trembled, not from love, but fear of losing something. And finally, Sarah arrived. No papers, no money, just soup and a warm blanket. Grandma, you sounded lonely, she said. So I came. That's when my heart knew the game was almost over. 2 weeks passed. I faked a fall one afternoon. Nothing serious, just enough to test M. The nurse at the clinic told Jacob and Lily I was hospitalized. Jacob didn't come. He sent flowers and a lawyer. Lily came once, took photos for social media, then left. But Sarah, she came every single day. She read me her favorite book, brushed my hair, made me laugh till I cried. One night, I held her hand and said, "Baby, don't ever lose that kindness. It's worth more than gold." When I came back home, I gathered all 3 again. The table was quiet, tense. I looked each of M in the eye and said, "The golden game's over." Jacob smirked. "So who gets the house?" I smiled. "None of you." They froze. I donated it. I said, "To the church shelter." Harold built this home from love, not greed. It's gonna give love back. Jacob's jaw dropped. Lily started crying. And Sarah, she just smiled. "That's beautiful, Grandma." I turned to her, handed her a small golden locket. Inside was a tiny photo of Harold and me. "This is my real inheritance," I said. Love that never runs out. She hugged me tight, tears falling on my shoulder. Weeks went by. The house filled with new laughter, children from the shelter playing in the yard, their joy ringing like music. Jacob stopped visiting. Lily called sometimes, said she understood now, and Sarah, she still came every Sunday, bringing me daisies, Harold's favorite flower. One evening, we sat together on the porch. The sun was setting, painting the sky in gold. "Grandma," she said softly, "you really turned pain into something beautiful." I smiled. "That's the secret, baby. When life hands you loss, you turn it into a lesson. When family forgets love, you remind M, even if it breaks your heart." She leaned her head on my shoulder. "I'll never forget this." I looked out at the horizon, whispering, "Neither will they." Years later, they called it Grandma Jean's House of Hope, a place where strangers became family, where hungry hearts found warmth again. And every child that played under that old oak tree, they look up and see my name carved in the bench. Love is the only legacy worth living. That's my story, sugar. A tale of gold, not in coins, but in hearts. Now, go hug someone you love tonight, before the world teaches M the price of forgetting. Good night, darling. Grandma loves you.